Alright, every single one of the songs that is in this playlist is license duration forever, price 0. I am pretty sure I'm gonna get like 30 fucking... We're gonna try something here. I'm at the point where, honestly, I might just go back to Twitch for my live streams, because like I kind of want to listen to real music while we get this stuff going. And everything we're about to listen to today should be royalty free, no issues. And I'm pretty sure I'm gonna get hit with a bunch of like freaking strikes and stuff, but we'll see. What's up, Mega Cap? Get some of these notifications out there. Did anybody else update their Discords and kind of hate what they're seeing? Typing. We'll see. If I get a bunch of them, I'll maybe look into going back to Twitch. We tried the YouTube thing. It seems to be just about as much foot traffic as Twitch was. And there's still also the worry that live streaming on Twitch, even though they did, or live streaming on YouTube, even though they did separate it, there's still that pang in the background of like, maybe if your streams don't perform that well, the rest of your videos start taking a hit. Because I did that, the Adepticon video. That thing hasn't even broken 1,000 views over a weekend. That's like the first video I've done in a while that didn't at least hit a K in a couple days. It's like, ugh. All I can think is all the streams I've been doing that not a lot of people have been watching. Alright, post. Word. So we'll see. Let's see how this pans out. Let's get into it though. Hiya! Beholden. I might need to turn down. There we go. So I kind of took this guy to completion. This is generally... No, I mean, it's partially that, it's partially just what we're doing, right? Like, not a lot of people are interested. I'm aiming for a crowd that doesn't exist, is basically the concept. Still a little bit we can touch up on this guy, though. I feel like. It is what it is. It's just, at this point, it is more a matter of like, oh god, how I want. Well, 40K and painting is niche. But now we're down to the point of just like, how do I want the streams to be? And part of me does want to like just turn on some melodic death metal and zone out, right? Like the old days. I was a little edgelord. Sitting quietly in my room, blasting corn. Painting some Chaos Space Marines. There are gnats in my room and I'm really annoyed. I think it has a lot of... Okay, what do I should probably start reading comments so there's like actual connection to what I'm trying to say. So it has fan backing. That's cool. I think like most games like it, it's gonna have this really fun following of people who maybe go to some local game stores once in a while to play each other. But even with what we keep hearing about how Trench Crusade is doing, public interest, all that stuff, right? I think technically War Machine in its heyday had more interest and was able to put itself into storefronts. Like, this is the thing. You put your entire game up on Kickstarter and you're like, everyone go get it. It's on Kickstarter. You don't have storefronts. You don't have local communities looking to get in and play stuff. You don't have tournament communities of a decent scale form around your IP, making it a flash in a pan, one-off, really good system, right? Like, that's kind of the gist. But in order to be a system that continues forward perpetually, you have to figure out a way to make your IP stand the test of time. I don't think they're doing that. It's just really good design that's going to get really good, like, sales. And that's it. And I mean, that's fine for them. They'll make some good money. Maybe they'll do an expansion. Maybe get some more money that way. But do I think it's going to be this big, persistent thing that continues forward and shows everyone the way of, you know, a good tabletop system? I don't know. I don't think so. I think MechWarrior has a better chance at that. And technically, MechWarrior... Like, I rarely hear about MechWarrior, and the only thing I've heard recently is MechWarrior is trying to find its stride by basically being 40K. They're doing like a grimdark MechWarrior thing now, and it's a little weird that that's what they decided to do for this time around. So, like, I don't know. Personally, MechWarrior had a better chance, or still has technically a better chance, at becoming a more consistent thing. My buddy and I were looking at War Machine, seeing what's happened to it ever since it got bought out by another company, Steamforged Games. And the problem we have with them right now is everything they're doing is good. It's beneficial to the communities. It is very focused on trying to provide us, the people, the best interaction and way of getting into something as possible. All the things people complain about with 40K, about needing to buy the rules, the codex, is gone. You have yourself your app. It's not even like a monthly fee as far as I can tell. And the process of printing. Games Workshop has the issue that most of the stuff is printed overseas. Shipping costs, weight costs, the new tariffs coming into play, the fact that most of the literature Games Workshop puts out gets printed from China, absolutely annihilate. Oh yeah, I can do that. How is it? I don't know. The bars are very separately. Like, this should be, I don't know. It's down now. But the idea of what they're trying to do with War Machine, because at one point in time, War Machine was genuinely a contender. It was able to stand up to Games Workshop games because it was in stores. These were guys that came from Games Workshop and knew how to get their product onto a store shelf, which that was huge. I remember the local community just actively moving over to War Machine before they basically ruined frickin' their public connection by making the rules so pedantic and bad because of their decision to let the winner of a tournament write the rules. Like, are you kidding me right now? That's the worst idea ever. You're gonna make a person who's all about, like, being an asshole about rules write the rules? Like, I don't think that's gonna work out the way you intend. But they did it, and it utterly ruined any public interest with the game. And they further did it because when they were trying to figure out how to change supply line, they sort of jumped the gun early and showed off stuff that wasn't the best of quality. When apparently it is actually really good now. It sort of did. The thing that made it very interesting was the storefront presence and was the fact that the people working on it were ex-Games Workshop employees. So there was at least a small level to a lot of people of, oh, this might actually do well, right? Because you have pedigree built in. But then they just ruined it, like outright. They absolutely destroyed any connection they had with the community. No, yeah. But that was probably one of the closest to striking distance of 40K. When it came out, it already had 4 modes. It had a skirmish mode, which was the War Machine mode. And then it had a Horde mode, which was for the people who preferred, like, the standard 40K approach, right? So they had flavor. They had good things. The design of all the characters and models was really good, too. Like, I played Crix back then. I loved that game. But they screwed it up. And then when I went back to look into it, it also looked like they completely got rid of most of their factions. It was just weird. They kind of removed what made the game interesting to a lot of people. And no, I don't think it was 7th. War Machine was popping off back when I was still playing 40K, so that would have been 5th. Because I think I bailed on 5th later on. I'm pretty sure it was 5th. Like, there were so many people locally looking into it because our local game stores had it. They had the boxes. It was on the shelves right next to the 40K stuff. And in my opinion, if Steamforged is able to resurrect that rivalry, I think it would do us all a big service because, I mean, right now, 40K is basically in the realm of zero competition. You're going to buy into Trench Crusade, that's great. You bought into a Kickstarter campaign, but you're not going to be going to your local game store, seeing a bunch of new Trench Crusade models and going, oh, I'd rather buy those than the 40K models. No, you're going to get your box. Maybe you've seen and ordered some stuff online. But then you're just going to be like, all right, that's cool. And then you're going to move on. And that's it. And it's like, I don't know if that system. If they could figure it out to the point where I go to my game store after their Kickstarter's done, and there's like a whole section for Trench Crusade, I'll be like, oh God, yes. Right? Like, they're doing it. They figured out the distribution issue. They figured out how to get in people's faces. That's important. And I'll change it. Yeah. This coming month. There you go. I was hoping to play Emperor's Children, but the first tournament I got is this coming Saturday. The codex still isn't in the freaking app. And if I was going to do it, I would have to hard mode get my hands on some stuff. Because I think I would only, with these 3 squads of technically Chaos Spawn, I would only be able to take my army to, I want to say, like 1,700? No, yeah. No, that's fine, Spro. I get it. So here's the thing. Like, once everything comes together for Trench Crusade, what if we start seeing tournaments, and we start seeing turnout, and we start seeing, again, the storefront thing, because that's probably the most important thing people cannot get around, is storefront interaction. Because here's the issue. My local storefront sells 40K, but they don't do 40K tournaments. So, like, people will buy from them because they have a really good system for selling this stuff. You buy X amount, you get an in-store gift certificate that's only usable on 40K things. So, like, I think it's like every $500 I get like $100. It's like they want you to buy the stuff. They're not really that worried about, you know, because they get a good deal. They get a good % off when they buy product. So they just kind of want to slightly sell a little bit better. And they just want to keep the stuff churning is the big issue. But they're always complaining like, oh, well, people don't play a lot in the store. People don't buy a lot in the store. And my only thought to that is, yeah, you guys don't run events like you used to. This was the store where I took part in the third war for Armageddon. People, it was hard getting product, like purchasing it in that store, because there were so many people just constantly buying them out. They were just in this perpetual churn of sales because they were doing events like once a month, right? They would do a big tournament. Maybe Games Workshop would do like a crusade. They would take part in it. Like, that was huge for them. But then the owner that did that retired. And the new owners are like, oh, well, we can just do card games. We don't have to care. And that's it. Like, they just do card games now. And that they complain that they're not getting as many 40K sales as they used to. And it's like, you did this to yourself. But if, like, Trench Crusade, if they can figure out how to get a store like this, who is kind of like beaten down, right? They're beaten down by watching nonstop gaming shops shut down after like the post-COVID era. They're just seeing all of this negative effects to game stores just hit. If they can somehow make a game store excited about holding events for their game and getting people into the door to try it, I think they might override a lot of like some of like the smaller stores and how they've been feeling about like 40K stuff and events for 40K. No, yeah, a lot of local game stores have figured out good ways to do discounts. getting around what I'm to understand is the thing they were supposed to sign about like not changing prices on products. Like you're not supposed to put stuff on sale unless it's like a thing that's been pulled off of general storefront or something. So the way people get around it is by being like, yeah, they're not on sale, but we're going to give you credit towards purchasing some of them. So it kind of works. Like these 6 guys were $120. That's towards my next marker. Should be good. We're applying Naples yellow right now for the orange that I like. We kind of apply it closer to the bottom of the gold. Oh, thank you. I'm running them as chaos spawn. That's why they're on larger bases. They're thinner than chaos spawn, but they're still about the same width because of these crab claws. Like the crab claws make them almost chaos spawn in width. I hate how chaos spawn look, and I really want my Emperor's Children to feel thematic. And since everyone hates Slaanesh Mortals in AOS, I figured I'd give my local store a sale for some Mortals. Yeah, you just gotta upgrade the base to a 50. That's it. Pull that off and you are good. Mandrakes have more longevity in the competitive scene due to them being released in Season 3, whereas Blooded were released in Season 1, so they'll go out of style if you're playing tournaments by about September is the guest on date. So I would go with Mandrakes. They are a very razor's edge skill team, though. I will tell you that right now. If you make a mistake with them, you're probably going to lose, but all of the rules that they have built in are so impressive. They're one of my main teams that I'll try to play often right now. Just because of, like, the way they play. They're way too fun. They do so much stuff that's like, oh, what's the rule that I normally would have to follow? Yeah, I don't have to follow that. I'm good doing whatever I want at this point. And it's like, it's so good. People who don't know how to play into Mandrakes have so many issues with them. Games Workshop sent me a $15 gift certificate once, and I used it to buy the cards for Mandrakes, because I was like, this is how I can track the stuff. They're really great, though. You might need to figure out a way to more easily separate what's a specialist and a warrior. I painted them all the same, and I didn't really think that much of it. I just wanted them to look nice. And then I started looking at them again, and I realized the only thing separating a specialist from a warrior, outside of maybe like a slightly different hand position or a two-handed sword, is the fact that they have top knots. Just so weird. What's up, everyone? It's cool seeing people in chat. Especially now. Normally right about now is when everyone vanishes. Because it's almost 3 o'clock, and I guess that means everyone, like, goes home. But it's cool. It's cool seeing people. But yeah, Mandrakes, in my opinion. Although I will say, I am very interested in the rules for the new AdMech team. Very interested. I've noticed, actually, people in 40k are doing the Blood Bowl different colored rims thing, which is actually brilliant. Personally, I'm sticking to my black rims. They look too nice. Oh, so pristine, so perfect, so divine. But yeah, I've run into teams where it's like, yeah, all my melee guys that are specialized have this like dark green rim, and then I have this unit that has a red rim, and I'm like, oh, that's cool. No, yeah, mandrakes are good. And they'll last a while. You'll be able to get some good timing on them competitively if you want. Blooded are good, though. Blooded are really high right now in the win percentages. I think they posted win percentages recently for these last, I think this last month in Kill Team. The subreddit just got hit with it. Anyone check it out? We can go over it while I try to get all this stuff done. I noticed Warp Coven went down only a little bit. I think Legionary took one of the biggest hits. Granted, I feel like a lot of these shifts are probably coming from new teams entering the mix. That's always the thing with balance. It's almost impossible to pull off, and a lot of it might have to do with what teams are currently accessible. And now that we have the Atom Bomb that comes from this new team, like, it genuinely feels like it's difficult for some of the elite teams that used to very easily control the flow of the game. Gellerpox also got a slight boost, but they also, I think only like one person's playing them right now in the meta. Which, you know, is fine. He's doing really good with them. That also could mean that the place he's playing in doesn't really have a lot of people who know how to play against them, or maybe even play teams that are good against them. Let me see. Let me see if I can pull up the info. Kill Team stats, monthly performance, March. You're all about to get flashbanged, and I can't help this because, as far as I know, this website doesn't have a night mode. Sorry in advance. Boom. Flashbang. So, yeah, Sanctifiers. Oh, that is ridiculous. Few games played, though, so it's probably only a couple people, and who knows, maybe the people they're playing against don't really know how to deal with it. But yeah, Warp Coven a little bit down. I guess we can look down here for the most part. Warp Coven dropped below the 60% line, which, that's good. Chaos Cult, though. Chaos Cult up good. Holy crap. And the thing is, I don't know why, right? They really didn't get too much of a shift. I'm guessing someone just figured out how to play them. And it's like, oh yeah. Blam! 23 to 54. 33 placements of difference. That's so wild. And then Gellerpox. Again, I wonder if this is Orion. I think Orion played Gellerpox very heavily, and he might have gone back to him and just started kicking everyone's asses. This, though, 6% drop. Legionary, a little bit of a... It's fine. Void Scarred, feeling good. That's always good. Nemesis Claw, holding. Brood Brothers I'm interested in. This was actually pretty cool to see the boost. Phobos, I've always said they are a solid team. They will be missed from the competitive scene at the end of this year. Doing good. Void Dancers. Everyone loves a good friggin' Insane Clown Posse Space Elf. They're doing a little bit worse, but like still doesn't really matter that much. I think the Plague Marines aren't either not played enough or maybe because like this is top what 38 maybe. Where's the overall chart? Is there an overall chart? I don't think there's an overall chart because this is 1 through 10 and then this is bottom 38, which means I'm assuming Death Guard are maybe in between here. So top 10, bottom 10. So Death Guard are like, but not like the worst. Not Kasserkin bad. Kasserkin are the biggest sad story. Like, I don't care. Well, okay, I kind of do. I don't care that Commandos are bottom 10. I don't care that Deathcore are bottom 10, despite being top 10 for the entirety of Kill Team 2.0. Right? Like, They do need a little bit of something maybe to boost them. Because, like, all these guys need to get above or at 50%, right, for it to feel good. I know everyone complains about Pathfinders being garbage, but they're the top of the bottom 10. So it's like Hearthkin Jaegers, which I think they should be doing better than this, in my opinion. Considering their rules, they're insanely good into ITD boards. Like, it's crazy to see this. Frickin' Blooded down here. That's sad. Mandrake's not up here, though. So Mandrakes are probably a good pickup because they're probably sitting in the 50% range. At least high 40s. But yeah, Kasserkin being the worst. Hunter Clade just above them. Tempestus Aquilans doing worse than expected. People thought Tempestus Aquilans were going to do better than the Vespid, but the Vespid are in the middle bracket. Vespid are straight up in the middle bracket. That's crazy. I thought these guys were going to do better because of their Deep Strike Meltagun prospects. Navy Breachers doing better than Aquilans. That's horrifying to me. Scout Squad. Scout Squad have a tough time. You have to rely so much on those knives into elites. Commandos, though. I mean, these are very close to each other in quality. I can see this. But things we are kind of seeing, if you really look at this. Top tier, I would say, ranged okay, so ranged focus, right? Sanctifiers love staying away and just nuking things. So, ranged focus. Warp Coven, ranged focus. Chaos Cult, melee focus with stealth, squishy. Legionary, blend, melee ranged, but elite. Geller, only melee. All melee, durable, but not good with APL or speed. Nemesis Claw, great for stealth function. Probably about the same, though, with Legionary, where it's melee ranged. These two will probably always be very close to each other in the meta. Corsair Void Scarred, a good blend, but probably mostly melee focused. I'd say, no, it's like 50-50. I'd say the best Corsair Void Scarred teams, though, don't rely a lot on ranged and try to go as much melee as possible. Brood Brothers, I feel like this is fairly ranged. Like, all you really have access to for melee, I think there's like one specialist and then the Patriarch. And that's basically like it. So this is kind of pulling it off. This doing better than Deathcore is insane to me, but I kind of get it. Phobos Strike Team, usually a good blend of melee ranged. I'd like to see what these lists that are doing well are, though. If it's like mostly Reavers or something, that would be kind of cool, because Reavers are really strong right now. Void Dancer Troop, melee. Hard melee. Lots of speed, very squishy. So there's a ton of blend up here in the top 10. It's not just like ranged or melee the whole way down. So like this is cool. This is kind of healthy, kind of. Then you get down here and it's kind of the same thing of like ranged melee, stuff like that. But there's just things that I imagine are keeping people down. And I want to say it's the ability to hold objectives. It has to be the ability to hold objectives. Because, like, you're going to have a problem fighting most of this on an objective. I feel like down here, you don't give a shit about Kasserkin on objective. You'll clear that objective, no issue. Hunterclade, maybe the same thing. Deathcore, very much the same thing. Aquilon's probably the same thing after turn 3. Navy Breachers, definitely, you're clearing them off objectives. Like, Commandos is weird to me, but maybe it's just because a ton of people play Commandos. Because that's the other thing you have to think about. Let me go back to painting. This is something you have to consider. This is kind of a problem of just looking at general percentages and not knowing the full story. How many of those people in that percentage tree do we think just started playing Kill Team? How many of them picked up what teams? Did a lot of people go out and find starter sets from the last edition, allowing them to play Krieg and Commandos? And that's like what we're getting now is just a bunch of people who got that starter set and are playing Krieg and Commandos. Because that's in 40k. Oh, this gnat is going to keep bothering me. In 40k, when you look at the percentages, right? You look at the win rates. A lot of the times you'll see that Space Marines are like mid or low, right? They're mid or low. Well, Space Marines just won Adepticon. So, mid or low, still winning major tournaments. It's because of the players. It's because the amount of people who play Space Marine, that's their first army. At my local game store right now, there are maybe like 6 new players this last year who are very serious about playing very frequently. They all play Space Marines. They all came into it with Space Marines, most likely because the game really pulled them in. But they are all about Space Marines. And to my understanding, a lot of the times those percentages will just factor all Space Marines into a single tier. So like Space Wolves, all the different detachments, Black Templar, whatever. I feel like a lot of the times it's just like, oh, that's Space Marine because that's the main army. So you have to really think hard about who's playing what, why, the amount of people playing, how new are they, how skilled are they. It changes percentages and the value you should put into them. Which is kind of interesting to me. Like, for instance, the Gellerpox one that is claiming... The Gellerpox one claims very few games played, and it's a really high win rate. Again, like I'm saying, maybe Orion picked them back up. Because Orion was huge with them in Felgor in 2.0. And he's really good with them. So I can't imagine if he picked them up, he wouldn't do well. And that would heavily skew what we're looking at in terms of percentages. Because with that rate, a ton of people should go out, like right now, and pick up Gellerpox and be like, oh, sweet. I'm going to do really well. And then you play him and you just get absolutely stomped. And you're not going to know why. It is what it is. Pretty sure I did the gray that I needed to do on all of the leather. I restarted a video I was working on. I got a new airbrush. A company sent me an airbrush. So I'm trying to do a video showing it off. Originally, I had this plan of like an all-in-one. Emperors or Champions of Slaanesh box overview, the team overview, all of it. That was my original plan. And yeah. It did not pan out. I was watching the video back, like the voiceover for it, and it just sounded terrible. There was no singular focus. It just felt like I was all over the place. So I redid the script, redid the recording this morning. No, yeah, it does. I mean, if you play Death Guard, you should probably get a ton more motivation for putting them together, because the Hulks are, I believe, on 50s. And you can just use them as Chaos Spawn, which is awesome. Alright, let's get this this light yellow down. You could almost get an extra Geller Pox and just run them as Raveners once those come out. You only get 5, and they're bulk melee, so it kind of matches. Alright, so this way we kind of touch from the top to apply the light yellow. I could probably do that. Because Torments are just single stat line. Doesn't really matter what they look like. Do a Nurgle-based cultist team. They never clarified what the Chaos cults were in terms of their placement in the seasons and the years, because they came out in the gap between Season 2 and Season 3. So I wonder when cultists are going to get pulled out. Trying to think if there's... Oh, that was wrong. I'm trying to think if there's going to be something I can grab easily, and all I can think is Demon Prince. Like, that's the one thing floating around in my head right now of, like, what can I grab to get this list to 2K to take to one of these tournaments? But at the same time, the Codex isn't in the freaking app. So it's very annoying to put together a list. I guess I just have to like Excel spreadsheet it, because the tournaments require you to send the list in advance. I'm actually a little pissed off though. The tournament I was looking to go to was a 2v2. It was done where you'd both get a 1K list on the field. You would have the full benefits of your army. You didn't need to do the same detachment, but you could if you wanted. And I was like excited to try out like one of these weird hybrid tournament things where it's not like the mainstay rules, so it's not as sweaty necessarily. I mean, our combo, the more I thought about it, the more I was like, wow, we are hard sweating, aren't we? Freaking Nids and Tzeentch Demons. The ability to Shadow of the Warp the whole field and then hit everyone with the frickin' Tyrannid Scream. We were literally aiming to give them -3 to leadership checks, and if they failed, they took D3 mortals. Like, come on. It's a little annoying. It's kind of an asshole move. I'm trying to figure out, though, what I want to run at these tournaments. Because, again, part of me wants to try to get my Emperor's Children list ready for it, but I don't know if that's even going to be remotely possible. I do love the look of the Slangor. I was worried that they weren't going to feel right. They're going to feel great next to the Emperor's Children. Like, honestly, because I actually paint demons really quickly, had there been Slaanesh demons accessible to me anywhere right now, like anywhere for a good price, I probably would have gone very easily into like picking a lot of them up to try to fill out the rest of my Emperor's Children list for now. Because they are really good. That would have been really awesome. But no. Emperor's Children dropped. Demons not in stock. Frickin' anywhere. I had one of the most wild rolls I've had in a while with my Scintillating Legion Tzeentch Demons. I don't know if you're familiar, if anyone out there is familiar. But if you take a Lord of Change, every time he attacks, you can choose to do a certain thing from a list on top of what he's doing with his main Bolt of Change. One of those things is D3 sustains. You get 9 attacks, you're hitting on 2s. It's all very basic stuff, right? Like, I figured it would do okay, but I'm not looking for anything crazy. The opening attack I did in that game took 9 attacks to 21. I rolled so many 6s on the hit roll. And then when I rolled all my D3s, it was like all 5s and 6s. It's absolutely insane. That was, I believe, into a Plague Burst Crawler. I one-tapped that thing turn 1. Just Thanos snapped it off the table. The most spiked roll I will probably ever experience in my entire life. Most likely this first tournament coming up this Saturday, I'm probably just going to keep using my demons. I've gotten really good with them. So it's one of those things of like, maybe I don't, you know, try to like dive into something else. I've gotten so good at the scintillating demons rules. I've used them so much. I actually have a chance of getting through a mission super quick. Who's looking forward to the new kill teams, though? I'm all about getting the Raveners, but I am actually super interested in the AdMech. That team has very high potential to be really interesting, depending on how they roll. Because when you look at the box, they have 2 leader units. That's cool. They've got like 2 leader style units. I mean, one will definitely be a leader. But they have just 2 very specific models that feel like centralized figures. And then a bunch of very basic, very similar models as like the rest of it. And I'm starting to think that this is very much going to kind of feel like sort of how the Imperial Guard work with orders. But it's going to be very AdMech-y in nature. So the whole premise is like, you have to kind of position the servitors around these 2 units to maximize their potential combat output. They'll get an order, maybe it'll help them shoot, or maybe it'll help them move. It's just going to be all protocols. I think that could actually be really cool. What's up, Arturo? Man, everyone popping in today. It's good to see. That could be really cool. I like web teams like that, right? Like, it was one of the main reasons I really liked the Warp Coven. The Warp Coven were built so that you kind of had to use the sorcerers as that sort of ping system for the big units, like the soldier units. I thought that was awesome. That's why I like Hyrotech so much. Even though Hyrotech technically aren't as much like that, there's still an element built into them of like, oh, you kind of want to keep these guys close, huh? And then, yeah, you do. And it all sort of works out. Might need to put down some glazing powder. Or glazing medium. Yeah, it finally happened. I mean, if you pay attention to what people are saying, like there's now like the two camps of this isn't what I wanted versus sweet, we get a nid kill team. There's so many people who wanted like new Shrike models. So there is kind of a level of like bittersweet. But Raveners are kind of cool, although being a super elite team, that was not what I expected. I genuinely did not believe for a second that whatever the NID team was going to be a super elite team. Like, that is from the frickin' just sideline. Like, no idea, no clue that that was what was going to happen. This is insane. I mean, I guess this will bring up hope for a lot of people for the eventual Custodes team return. Although I highly doubt that. Personally, this is more about the eventual Grey Knight return. I could easily see a super elite Grey Knight team. Yeah. They got a Baby Bjorn, man. The Baby Bjorn upgrade. That feels very weird. Because that feels mostly like a lot of the times when you watch tournaments, the Grey Knight players are all using Baby Bjorn. And this thing is now like, hey, do you want a different Baby Bjorn? Would you like a visual and aesthetic upgrade to the Baby Bjorn? It's like, no. Think I'm good. I mean, we kind of know. This is one of those like bad situations where everyone's talking themselves up into what they want, and then Games Workshop's giving them enough time to like build the hype for something that isn't real. That's sort of a big issue right now, is so many people are like, yeah, there's no way they're gonna, you know, let this go by without giving us 5 new units. Apply the clown makeup. Do it. I mean, 8-bound are really the core of World Eaters. I finally got to face World Eaters for the first time. And the person I played against, like, didn't exactly bring, like, oh my god, as a list. Like, didn't have Angron. He didn't really want to use Angron. Mostly because, according to him, every time he's used Angron, it's basically been a guaranteed loss. Like, Angron never does what he wants him to do. Ever. Like, it's almost built into the character at this point for him. He won't make the charges he needs to make. He never resurrects at the good time. So he tried, like, mostly 8-bound and Karn and some Juggernauts. And I just outmaneuvered him hard with my Zinch Birds and the freaking Scintillating Legion uppy downy that I have access to. I mean, you could paint him that way, probably, right? They do hit hard as hell. Like, holy crap, they are designed to be an insane 3-person unit. But the issue is his list is kind of like Pokemon not as effective against my list. Although he almost had me. He almost had me. Turn 1, bottom of turn 2, he caught my Kairos with 2 squads of 8-bound. Or I think 1 squad of 8-bound and his Corn Berserker squad. His other squad went for a different unit but failed the charge. So a squad of 8-bound, a squad of Corn Berserkers led by Karn took Kairos from 20 wounds to 1, and then I teleported him out. Like, that one maneuver, that one ability of just being like, nope. Mechanically enough to just be absolutely obnoxious to melee heavy teams. Yeah, we're gonna try. This is all from YouTube's back end. It is all free pop music. I feel like we did this once before, and then at the end of the show that we did, or the stream, I started just getting crazy amounts of, hey, you're getting hit with a not like a strike, but sort of like a copyright thing where the income from the video gets split. Even though these are songs that are clearly marked as royalty-free, able to be used, no issues. The problem is that pop music uses a lot of samples. So it'll tell me like, oh yeah, so this song is claiming like it wants to take revenue, but like that song isn't the song that it's coming from. So it's a little annoying. I'm not gonna lie, there is a very high chance that pretty soon here, I might just start streaming exclusively on Twitch and then just stick to YouTube for videos. Solely for the fact that I'll be able to start listening to my music again. Like, for that one reason alone. We'll be sitting here listening to Insomnium. Maybe I'll put on some soil work or something. We'll get some work done. I could put on some eyeliner, pretend to be a high schooler, and we can listen to Sleep Token. Dude, tabletop wargaming is genuinely fun. And the prospect of needing to be across from another human being that you're talking to while playing. Oh. It's like, genuinely, it's like a post-COVID thing. But it feels so perfect. Having done this recently, like getting into the group that I'm a part of for all of this, genuinely feels like, man, I really missed this. I really missed talking to another human being. And I'm trying to, you know, keep it kind of like organized in my mind. Because this is nerd culture. I will definitely be running into an individual that is a hyper sweat or like just not prepared enough. Like I'm almost expecting at this tournament I'm about to go to probably run into at least one, if not two sweats. It happens, and I hear about it from time to time locally. Some of the tournament goers from our local group will go out to these places, they'll try to banter, and then the people they'll banter into will be like, hey man, I like that you like to talk, but let's get this game underway. And it's like, okay. Alright, no fun for you, that's fine. I guess we'll hyper-focus and just kick your ass. And if that's what you want, I guess. No, yeah. One-page rules is great and all, but, I mean, one-page rules really does feel like the gateway drug for harder tabletop. At least for some people. Because I personally yearn for rules interactions on a much larger scale than one page. I'm not gonna lie. The simplification of it is great for people looking for simplified playstyle, but like, I want weird interactions. I want to be like, yo, did you know how this poison works? Guess what? I feel like I played enough Magic the Gathering to enjoy a depth of options. Still good for just picking it up for a day and having fun, though. Oh, yeah. Get them hooked on the plastic crack. It is good for a throwaway weekend, though. You just want to, like, dick around, roll some dice, see who wins, see who loses. Certainly a good way to do that. Space Wolves? I hate them because I'm a Thousand Suns player. But congratulations to any Space Wolves player who received Space Wolves. I will gladly grind them under my boot. Keep the rivalries alive. There is a weird sentiment, though, locally, about Space Wolf players. Not like among players, right? Like, it's whatever. But I've talked to some store owners, and there's this weird thing that happens with Space Wolf players, at least on a local scale. And this is one of those things where I'm like, I wonder how pervasive this is. But locally speaking, there are maybe 3 Space Wolf players that have basically full collections of Space Wolves. Like, these guys are hardcore about them wolves. They are furry as hell. Like 2 steps away from being bronies. But I've talked to store owners. I'm like, oh, well, these guys are avid about making sure to always have the latest models. They're always interested in having, like, massive collections of Space Wolves. So this has to be good, right? This has to be good for you guys. And I feel like what they've all said to me is Space Wolf players don't buy from local stores. Like, they always seek cheaper avenues. And, like, they just don't support kind of, like, local game scenes. I was like, that's weird. Like, you've seen none of them? They're like, yeah, they come in for tournaments, but, like, I don't know where they got these massive collections from. So there's just this odd level of, like, what's happening with Space Wolf players? Because I fought a few of them, and they've got some big collections, all really well painted. And every store owner I know is like, yeah, what I'm expecting is to get this box in stock and not sell it. And it's like, that's crazy to me. That's just like, what? What do you mean? It's just too weird to me that all of them did it. Like, that there wasn't one that was like, yeah, I shop at all the locals. But then I started to really think about it. Like, my actual local store, I feel like they've had the same Space Wolf boxes in since I first started getting back into the game. Like, they've got some boxes that look like they're from 8th. Just sitting on the shelf. The only other team that had a box like that was the GSC, which was fantastic for me because they sold it to me for 8th edition pricing. No price hike for that box. Got a friggin' Ridge Runner for like $40. And then I glued a laser to it like an idiot. Really should have went for the mortars. What else can I add to this list? If I were to go absolutely crazy... What up, go for it! If I were to go absolutely crazy and seek to get this thing to 2K before this Saturday, I know one store that has a Demon Prince in it. I would have to go drive out there and grab it. I don't even think that gets me to freaking 2K, though. Alright, let's just get right to the speculars, I think. These are almost done. Then I just gotta go varnish them today. It's nice and warm out, so varnishing is gonna be perfect. Sadly, the Emperor's Children variant of Chaos Spawn do not regenerate, so they are not the anti-indirect mortar fire objective holding unit that I would have preferred them to be. But they're still really good at it. Alright, Specular. We basically just touch parts. Giggity. Just kind of pick things. It's not about putting it all over. It's just about being like, alright, that needs to be a little bit brighter. Maybe like right there. A little bit of edge highlight. A little bit of highlighting on the tops of the spikes. Maybe right there in the corner. It's not the best non-metallic metal approach, but I kind of like it because it's excessive and it plays into the army, the visualizations, the concepts. It just looks nice. Do they even call them a hive fleet? GSE, I don't think is considered a hive fleet, right? Necessarily, at least visually. Although the Gene Stealers, you could probably do something with. I don't really have one. And to what are you referring to? Are you referring to the character I'm using as my little VTuber, or are you referring to the army that I run? Because the army that I run, I decided to just paint more visually, aesthetically different. They're kind of like in night fight mode. I think they just call them cults, right? Like there's like the cult of gears or something. They're just cults. My army is Biosanctic. That is the detachment. But in general, I don't know. I've been referring to them slightly as like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Just because I do the hex pattern from the airbrush spray on them. But they're designed to just look like Night Fight, right? Like the vehicles and everything are designed with cobalt and light phthalo blue, so it has a sort of on it, right? Like just a little bit of like moonlight type stuff. But then yeah, then you get like the weird effects of the hexagonal, almost like a camouflage coming off of them. But I've never necessarily like thought of, oh well. Okay, go for it. I got it. I've never really thought of them as like a specific hive fleet or a specific cult. This is their patriarch, who we might actually airbrush a little bit more. Because I kind of just dry brushed him. I didn't actually airbrush him. I feel like we could easily airbrush his back to be different. I guess we could call them the mouse trained or something, right? Because they're biosanctic, which is all about that kind of body manipulation. They lean into Gene Stealers heavily, as well as Abominance. And my Patriarch's main squad is a squad of mouse-trained Gene Stealers. So that's kind of what they can be, I guess. The mouse-trained cult. There's a mild chance I'd be down to sell them to my one buddy. I don't think he's looking to get into 40K though. He got a kill team for Christmas. And we talked about what he needed to build for them, how he needed to build their equipment. We even got him some extra stuff to be able to fully build out the higher tech for himself, which he was all excited about. And then I just haven't heard from him. He's like, oh yeah, I can't wait. Zero interaction afterwards. Oh, you're trying to figure out a fun paint scheme for Raveners? So, I think I talked about this to Francois, one of the regulars here. I guess I could show you guys this stuff. I've always wanted to do like, how do I put this? I've assumed that one of the big future things that people don't do enough or talk about enough for 40K painting actually comes from nail painting tech. Because nail painting, like fingernail painting, that is a crazy realm of like extreme advancement in visual oddity, right? Like, people enjoy the idea of being like, yo, you've never seen these fingernails before. Like, they've gotten to this point where maybe there's LEDs in the fingernails. Like, it's absolutely insane. The sheer quantity of craziness that you get out of fingernails is pretty awesome. And I think there is a place at combining two functions. Let me see if I can pull one of these up. Give me a second. Let me make sure this doesn't go, this is your address. You know, before I show you guys anything. Oh, if you want to send it to this address, you can. Oh, you assholes. Ships from... Okay, I can't scroll too far down then. Here, these are good ones. Okay. Imagine, if you will, the back armor, the chitinous armor on a single Ravener. Looking like that. Hell. Take your pick. So these are like press-on things. They also do fractal, like, flakes. What you're supposed to do is you kind of like glue the flake down and then coat it. Maybe like this. What do you think about this? This is just in a freaking bottle, dude. You feeling like this might be interesting? What about this? Imagine this is the skin on a Ravener. You can go even light. You could put this in like the recesses on the gun. Some of these decals too that you could probably press down. It just depends on whether the decal's flexible. But we were looking around and we found like it's like a tray of fractal flakes. I wonder if I can find them. Fractal flake. Hobby. I think this is it. Question is, are they thin flakes? I think they might be. This person has a really bad picture for them, though. Yeah, hang on. also make sure... Yeah, okay. So this is a fractal flake. It's literally a flake that you could apply to a surface. A lot of the times what this is for is you put it, you kind of like glue it to a surface, you put resin over top of it, you UV the resin to hold it down, and it sort of becomes like a gemstoning effect. Could you imagine like using this on elements of stuff you're making for 40K? I feel like I kind of want to try this. So I can make a hobby video that no one watches. Because, yeah, fingernail tech is insane. Like, what they've done with fingernail tech is just completely out there, in my opinion. And the fact that we kind of have access to it as hobbyists and we don't utilize it, even if it's something basic and stupid, like all the surfaces of my bases are done in like that nail, that like green and purple nail stuff, right? Like just something that simple of being like, let me swirl this green purple stuff on the surface of my base and then glue my person to it once it's dry, or like somehow attach him to it. I don't know. There's something there that I think we're not utilizing. All right, let's get the pigment powder down. It's only been an hour and a half. I don't have any other projects to do. We might sit here and try to figure out what else we could get to make a 2K list before this weekend. So we apply pink powder because it further pushes the pink. The pink dust. Just makes it a little bit brighter. It might be very indiscernible on the camera, but it's a little bit more saturated. It's a little bit more, a little bit extra. Technically, what I'm using right here is also fingernail tech. In theory, it's just resin tech. If you wanted resin to be fluorescent pink, you would apply this to a resin mixture, like a clear resin mixture. But it is like dust particulate. So it makes it feel like there's a really thin layer of like kind of super thin dirt on a surface. No, yeah, their paint job is just basic on them, which it needs to be. I mean, they're just Slaanesh mortals. Slangors look great, though. They're definitely great for Chaos Spawn. I'm really happy about this. Chaos Spawn are probably going to be one of the most important cheap scoring units that the Emperor's Children have access to for a while, as we do not have cultists. We do not have access to like anything really beyond that. The only team that might not need this is the one that's split between demons and Emperor's Children, because demons are fairly cheap and they actually have really good like abilities and they deep strike. So quality. But if you play Mercurial like I do, these things are very important. Hold, please. go. I am a little disappointed we don't have Hellbrutes. I kind of get it, and I talk about it in the video I'm trying to put together. If you really consider the rule that the Emperor's Children have access to, advance or fall back with shoot and charge, it is a little bit not as powerful because you have to kind of target different units. But I mean, Hellbrutes become brutal with fall back and do all that, or advance and do all that. Predators also. I mean, like, you can't hold that down at all. I feel like the army rule is a little too strong to just hand it to anything. Like, I know a lot of us were talking in the store about the prospect of, like, Venom Crawlers being one of the crossover units. That would have been cool. But a Venom Crawler with advance and shoot is insane because it's a 12-inch move. Normally, it would probably, with the mark, go up to like 14-inch move. And then on top of that, you get a D6 and can still shoot and charge? Are you kidding me? So I feel like a lot of the loss we took in units comes from the impressiveness. World Leaders can have Hellbrutes. They did in the Index. What are you talking about? World Leaders have one of the best Hellbrutes, to my understanding, unless they got rid of them. Let me try to pull it up. Unless they're getting rid of it for you, which would be insane. This is one of the best Hellbrutes you can possibly get for the points cost. Like, someone figured out my trick with the Death Guard Hellbrute, which was cool. It's fun, but I think he's too expensive for it. But this, each time an enemy unit targets this model after it has finished making its attacks, this model can either shoot as if it were your shooting phase or fight as if it were your fight phase. Not once per round, not once per turn. Each time an enemy... This is insane. This is insane. So what normally would happen, like there was this guy I watched at a tournament who did the I want to say the las cannon missile launcher combo, and he just ran this out into the field, stood in the field, and if you shot it and didn't kill it, incoming las cannon and crack missile on whatever the hell you want to shoot at. This is one of the best ones. The generic one's okay, because I mean it just plays into the army rule, but this is insane. This is just absolutely crazy. And if you charge with it, right? If you charge with it into like 2 squads of fodder, and you actually went ham with like maybe like a hammer and a scourge, and you charge into fodder with this, like, come on. Or no, Hellbrute Fists. Maybe, yeah, Hellbrute Fists is dual heavy flamers. You could do that. Charge into 2 fodder squads and just run in. Frickin' attack for 5 attacks at the fight's first step. And then when both fodder squads swing into you, every time they do it, another 5 attacks. Twin linked. Or you could just choose to flamer them from close range. Like, dude, this is insane. This is one of the best versions of the Hellbrute. This is one of the closest versions to what the old Hellbrute kind of acted like. We don't get Hellbrutes as Emperor's Children. That's just not a thing for us. Not allowed. Okay, so he does have pink on him, like I thought. It's one of the only ways you're getting a Hellbrute in the U.S. as far as I can tell. Did they come back in stock yet? I don't think they have. At one point, I technically owned 4 Hellbrutes, but I ruined my first Hellbrute so much that I just was like, I'll throw it out. Back in my days of, oh, this isn't that bad, and then all the prices went up. No. I should have just held on to it. And just kept it off to the side. I could have turned it into a frickin' Emperor's Children Hellbrute if he was in there, but he's not. Oh, Hellbrutes are back in stock. Still $62, though. Jesus Christ. One of the worst frickin' tanks you could possibly pick. $62. Although, honestly, the value of Hellbrutes in any army is the fact that they're really small. That's probably like the biggest value, is you can easily hide them places. They don't take up a lot of area when it comes to your deployment. So it's not the worst, but it still kind of sucks. Nope, we do not get Oblits. I painted my Oblits the color of my Emperor's Children because I wanted to test it. But I also was kind of hoping that they'd be like, yeah, you get Oblits, and they have a different selection of weapons that feel more Emperor's Children-y, like Sonic stuff. We just put a little bit of blue down. The reason I do blue is because I kind of want to put in some surface difference in pigment to give like a little bit more interest in the bases. Make it feel like little puffs of blue just kind of like appear. Yeah, we don't really have an impressive selection of ranged. It's just Noise Marines, which they're good, but they're also kind of one-trick ponies. They're very good if you have Cacophonists in the Demon detachment, though. Because you can just drop Noise Marines next to some demons with a Cacophonist leader in the Noise Marine squad. And those Noise Marines are getting sustained 1 on 5. Because that's how that works. If you already have sustain 1 in the demon with the carnival, all it takes is another demon unit to be nearby, and it drastically improves the sustained 1 function, which I think also works for Fulgrim. Fulgrim also has sustained 1 across all his attacks, so if you have Fulgrim next to like some demons, all of a sudden Fulgrim's just getting crazy amounts of sustain. Try to work on this video after we're done here. Build options would be good, and having it separate from Venom Crawlers would be very important. I do not like when 2 units come in the same box. I really hated that the Patriarch and the I think the Primus, I think that's what he's called. I keep forgetting what they call him, but I'm pretty sure it's Primus because everyone thinks of the band when you say him. For GSC, I hate that they were in one box. Like, you had to buy the command units out of a single box. This is just dumb. Which is why I leaned into the Necromunda stuff. But yeah, we really don't have a lot right now. Everyone's biggest complaint, but I don't think they could give us a lot. The army rule is too good with too much stuff. Now, they could have changed that by being like, hey, the army rule only really works for infantry, and it's like, okay, I get it. But it's also great that you have access to a Land Raider and a Rhino And even the Mauler Fiend with this rule. Like a Mauler Fiend with advance and charge. Beautiful. Beautiful. But yeah, we also get to kind of sit here and think. Maybe, just maybe, I pick up a couple boxes of Oziark Bone Reapers so that I can pre-build those automatons for my Thousand Sons. My recent purchase of tanks for my Emperor's Children has given me a lot of weapons that just sit around. So, like, I could easily build missile tubes to put on their backs. Could easily get some flamer bits to, like, come off their arms. I just wish I knew how they get built. I think they might have 2 weapon slots, and maybe one can become a heavy flamer. But if both can become a heavy flamer, I think that's really where it's going to shine. A squad with free Overwatch and friggin' 4 heavy flamers that they can just unload into something. So why do we think the Emperor's Children Codex isn't in the app yet? It's been almost 2 weeks. Actually, it's been over 2 weeks. I imagine they're waiting for the Combat Patrol and the regular Codex to drop, but like, I have my code, please. Just let me put it in your frickin' system. You already have points values and stuff up on the Munitorium Field Manual. Like, I get that not everyone has it, but there are a few of us who could go to a tournament with it if the tournament allows it. And I think, I want to say the team tournament at Adepticon allowed it, maybe. I think Glacial Geek took the army and was allowed to run it. also kind of wouldn't want to do it just because I do use a Horus Heresy Land Raider. I mean, it's the only way for me to get my hands on a Land Raider in the States. Outside of third-party means. But there's been recent conversation in some of our Discords about people not liking that. Assuming it's modeling for advantage. Because it is a little bit shorter, but it's also a little bit wider. What kind of bits are you looking for? And wait, what are you trying to build? When the individual EC box is released, what might be the best kits for bits? Yeah, like what are you trying to apply bits to? Because the squad, like the Tormentors and Refractors, they do get some really cool icons. Like, I've got some bonus Emperor's Children icons out of those boxes I have. Which I wish I had before I finished building my rhinos, because then they'd be on the front panel, which would be awesome. Oh, getting started on a World Eater's army and you're looking for Emperor's Children bits? Like, what are you trying to do? Like, corpses on a base or something? Because I don't know, man. It is a struggle. So, in a single box of, I'm guessing they're going to be doing 10-man squads. The way the bits worked, at least with the battle box, and I'm guessing they're going to be split up in a very similar fashion, is in a single box. A single box of Refractor Tormentors, if it's a 10-man, you're going to get 2 Melta Guns, 2 Plasma Guns, I think 4 total icons. No, 6. Because, yeah, 6. Because it's, the icons they have are the Eagle, either turned left or right, and then an actual Slaanesh icon. Outside of that, I mean, there's interesting body model functions. There's the blades you can use, like daggers and stuff, swords. There's the guns usually have like some form of Slaaneshi element to them, like or Emperor's Children element to them, like the eagle or some, I guess, like dots or something. You'll also get access to the noise weapons, which it might look weird on World Eaters to have like noise weapon components. You get specifically noise pistols. When you lean over to things like the Noise Marines, you get the faces from the weapons, which may be usable in interesting ways for world eaters. I don't know. Flawless blades, though. I'm not sure about flawless blades. I mean, they're not out yet. So I'm not super sure what you're going to get with that. I do like a lot of the helmets, like the actual helmeted heads. For things like the refractors and the noise marines. But we are using my 3D print heads. That is very important. Do I take my demons or do I take my Vashtor list? I like my Vashtor list. I've played my demons twice now, though, so they're very fresh in my head. Maybe we just do demons. Rings painted. I'm trying to think of what else could be cool for you, though. We really are limited. I don't even think Lucius would be great for you. Fun stuff that would come out of the flawless blades, though. The backpacks, they all have those little vials on the back that are like a melted down person that's used as a drug. That could be cool. Aesthetically, at least. Not super sure past that. We don't really have chainswords. Or any blades that look really cool. Like, even the refractor daggers all look very basic. Hell yeah. 6 Chaos Spawn Slangor. But I need to make sure... There we go. Coming to hold down your objectives with our 1OC. Yeah, they could. They probably easily could. All right, let's see where we're at with this. Let me pull up the Munitorum Field Manual. Page 21. Let me pull up a calculator. So, I like to play Mercurial Host. I will probably play Mercurial Host if we can get this to 2K. I doubt we can. We have 1 Land Raider, 240, plus 2 Chaos Rhinos, 80, 80, and that's from the increase, sadly. We have now 3 Chaos Spawns, so 3 pips of 80. Yeah, that barely, like, moves the needle. Fulgrim, 385. We are halfway there. Infractors was a full squad 160. Lord Exultant at 80. 2 Tormentor squads, which, I mean, it's 85, so 170. And 2 squads Noise Marines. 135 plus, 135 plus. The only upgrade I wanted to give my leader was Tactical Perfection at 15. We are at 1720 now. Would a Demon Prince literally be the end for this? Like, what if I did on foot? 1915. It leaves a lot of points on the table, which I wouldn't want to. See, this is the issue. I really wish I had... Oh my god. Does anyone else see this? Seekers. 5 models for 90 or 5 models for 180. Good job, Games Workshop. Like, at this point, I wish I had a Demon Prince with wings. Because that would be minus 15 to this. And then I would need one more thing that's like 80 points. Like a sorcerer or something. Honestly, grabbing a sorcerer and putting it in a squad of like exalt or tormentors wouldn't be the worst idea. It does give them benefit of cover at all times. It's not that bad. But we're almost there. We're almost to 2K flat. We don't have a lot of room to play with either. That's if I have a Demon Prince, which has been the debate for a little while now, whether we want one of these. This would be great to just keep near units and use mechanically on stuff, because he moves quick, he has a great aura, he's lone op, he can just go do stuff as long as he's near an allied unit. This one though, this guy hits like a goddamn truck. Technically, I could take the Demon Prince with wings and then give him like a good upgrade. I think one of these is like a consistent -1 to wound. Should be insane. Alright. It's a short stream, only 2 hours. Thank you, though. It's always cool seeing people pop in and saying hi. Not a lot of views, but good concurrent. Super fun. Probably shouldn't show this. Right monitor fade. But I gotta get moving. I'm hungry, or I'm gonna be hungry soon, rather. Eating an hour or something. Pink goat crab's done. List almost to 2K. Just need this one combat patrol. Later.